Yes, yes, oh, the meeting is on now, so you can. Huh? Okay, okay, okay. Yeah, 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 please. You're not yet in. Yes, now you are here. Yes. Can you see? I can see you now. And Mr. What's his name? The ZBA director is also joining now, or he will join later. Oh, okay, okay. Sorry. You are on mute. You are on mute.
Now you can hear me, right?
Yes.
And now I'm trying to give my browser. No. Okay. I'm just trying to share my screen.
Yes. It is. I can see that your screen now.
You can see the screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I try to get into the app, which is this here.
Yes.
So you should see it fully screen.
Yes.
Okay, good. That is what I want to show as
Yeah.
a starting screen.
Yes. Just hold on. Just give me 1 minute. Hello.
Yes, okay. It's okay like this?
Yes. Hello.
Yes, I'm muted again, right? Mhm.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me?
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Uh, I will ask my the
No,
guy talk to you right now.
I can hear you. I can hear you.
No, no, no. I was on the phone.
Ah, okay, sorry.
Okay, so I got because the exhibition is on, so all exhibiting.
Yeah. So you're under stress. So my proposal is, Ganesh, you leave this open, and
Yes,
I, with phone, will care for Johannes Kirsch. Johannes
yes,
Kirsch is a senior person, not sure that he will match it. I
yeah,
will call him
yes,
to make sure that he has no problems, right?
yeah, yeah. So I'm online. Ask him to
Okay.
join now this meeting. I will accept his let him in. Then we'll he also check his presentations and then we'll talk.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. His presentations are in mine. We agreed that I present his slides,
Okay.
so he has no problem with this thing because
Oh,
he's not so familiar with this. So
yeah.
I do.
No problem. No problem.
Okay,
Thank you.
good. So when do we start exactly? You say
Uh,
in 1 hour
is
to
one
my schedule.
yes 3:30. Means what is your time? One sec.
In 1 hour from now, right?
Yeah, 1 hour
Yeah.
from now.
Okay, so we have time. I will invite Johannes to
Yes.
follow and try to get all these things. Okay?
Yes. Yes.
So you can care for your exhibitors and your show. Not needed. I know that is always stress, and it's the
Yeah.
first time. And all my sympathy to you and for your courage. You did this. It's difficult, to have
Very
the
cheap.
buyers and so on. What time is it now? But you did it, so I will help you
Yeah.
whenever I can. Okay?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Because getting the buyers from European is very tough and
Very tough, very tough. I
yeah.
was talking to Caroline. She was inviting all her buyers, but most of them are reluctant and saying, okay, not in this moment now, maybe in 2 months' time, something like this.
Okay.
Many things are on hold.
Yes.
But I think it's a good step from you, Ganesh,
Yes.
to occupy the ground and sending out a message, even with the government. People may be impatient,
Yeah.
but what can they do? Can they call all buyers personally? No. You can, we can, and so anyway, so
Yes.
we will do this discussion later. It will be very interesting. Hopefully,
Yes.
we have some more visitors than last week. We have had conference with CII,
Mm-hmm.
and it was communicated worldwide by CII and so on. And we just had 2 or 3 audience from India,
Yeah.
so it was very few. But Johannes Kirsch said, "Okay, whenever I can do something to connect India and Germany, I will support you. So I said yes, let's do it next week and give positive perspective to all potential buyers, to all potential exhibitors, also from your side. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So I mute here now,
Yes.
and then go in 5 minutes or 10 minutes before, or when I meet with Johannes. Yes.
2:45. We will again come on live.
In 45 minutes.
Yeah. Two
Okay.
forty-five.
A quarter to the event. Okay.
Yes. Quarter to the event.
Okay. See you.
See you. Thank you.
Take care. See you.
Morgen, Hans. Ich habe mich jetzt mal draufgeschaltet. Kannst du mich hören? Ich sehe auf jeden Fall mal dein Bild.
Good morning, Mr. Krish.
Hi, good morning. Can you hear me clearly? Or is the sound
Hello.
too heavy?
Yeah, this is Ganesh from Fair Act.
Good morning, Ganesh.
Yeah, thank you.
Can you hear me?
Thank you very much for joining.
What is your guess about the quality of the sound? Is it too
Yes,
heavy? Is it too loud?
yeah, I'm not able to hear you, sir.
Oh. So,
Your net connection is not good. I think so. You have to re-log in again if you possible.
I will relog this. What about the power of my microphone? Is it okay now? So,
Hello, can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Now your voice is also good.
Oh, that's fine. I'm very happy about this because that was a big problem in the last meeting. Thank you.
Okay. This webinar is going to be live on our virtual platform, exhibition platform, as well as the YouTube channel.
Okay, fine. But I guess we have another half of an hour until the meeting starts. Is it right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. But now we know the connection is working and I can see the slides from Hans Geng. He has switched off his microphone because he's in another phone call, but I guess it's all right now. And then we can keep the connection alive and switch on our microphones, let's say 10 minutes before 11 German time to start the presentation.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Super. Thank you.
Hallo? Sorry, Johannes.
Guten Morgen, Hans.
Ich habe es da mit dieser schönen Tafel da probiert, bin aber an der Technik irgendwie so nicht so richtig vorwärts gekommen.
Okay.
Deswegen wird es jetzt so laufen wie beim letzten Mal. Das kriegen wir dann hin. Ich hatte da so mit der Hilfe von meinen jungen Kollegen, dass er irrwitzig Tolles was aufgebaut, ne? Dass es aussieht wie ein richtiger ein richtiger Schulungsraum. Es bleibt bei der, es bleibt bei der Absicht.
Gut. Wie ist denn diesmal meine Soundqualität? Ich hatte beim vorigen Meeting eine restliche Einstellung. Ist das jetzt okay für dich?
Nee, also die ist nicht richtig gut, ehrlich gesagt. Ich weiß nicht, hast du einen Kopfhörer? Du hast ja einen Kopfhörer eigentlich an, ne?
Ja, ich habe jetzt heute zum ersten Mal den Kopfhörer in Verwendung und die Kollegen haben sich beklagt, dass meine Sprache zu heftig, zu laut rüberkäme. Kommt das bei dir auch so an?
Nein, jetzt im Moment geht es gerade gut. Also so wie der Abstand vom Mikrofon zum Mund ist, da können wir vielleicht noch ein bisschen regeln. Sag einfach mal was und veränder das ein bisschen.
Ja, ich habe vorhin die Mikrofoneinstellung über die Systemeinstellungen vom PC runtergefahren. Und dann sagte der indische Kollege, jetzt wäre es okay, aber die sind halt meistens überfreundlich und nicht so kritisch wie die Deutschen untereinander. Das heißt, wenn es nicht stimmt, sag mir bitte direkt, dann bastel ich da weiter dran rum.
Nee, lass es so, wie es jetzt ist. Das ist schon besser als beim letzten Mal. Definitiv.
Okay, aber
Es
gut
ist
wäre anders, weißt du.
entfernt, aber gut.
Okay.
Und ich probiere noch mal ein bisschen da drüben rum. Mal gucken, ob ich dann Hans Geng oder mit Ä oder Hans Geng mit AE bin.
Okay, gut.
Aber wir haben ja noch ein bisschen Zeit. Es fängt ja erst um 11 an und die Generalprobe mit dem Ganesh hat ja jetzt schon funktioniert. Also von daher kannst du jetzt an was anderes arbeiten. Ich habe ja auch noch telefoniert zwischendrin. Habe nicht gesehen, dass du kommst. Sorry.
Kein Problem. Ich habe auch noch einen Rückruf offen in Frankfurt und den werde ich dazwischen noch haben. Das heißt, ich könnte.
Schalt mal sicherheitshalber stumm oder geh ins Nebenzimmer.
Besser ist das, ja, du hast völlig recht, sonst kommt manche Quatsche noch in die ganze Welt. Also bis später.
Im Moment, jetzt ist wieder die Tonqualität ganz schlecht geworden für eine Sekunde. Ich weiß nicht, womit das zusammenhängt.
Weil das ist eigenartig. Ich
Jetzt
muss
ist
das
wieder
Ding
besser.
jetzt
Jetzt ist
besser.
sie weg.
Jetzt ist er ganz weg.
Nee, aber das war jetzt in dem Verlauf von dem kleinen Gespräch, hat sich das verändert. Vorher war es richtig passabel.
Und jetzt?
Wir können es ja so machen, dass ich dich tatsächlich dann einfach als Moderator auffordere, wenn es unter einen Wert geht, dann korrigierst du ein bisschen an dem Mikrofon da rum, also physisch, nicht an der Software, ich glaube, an der liegt es nicht, sondern wie dein Headset, wie das sitzt. Das ist
Okay.
der Punkt.
Vielleicht ist da eine Verbindung nicht so, wie sie sein soll. Dann mache ich mal auf stumm, oder mal, ob das Ding da irgendeinen Wackelkontakt hat.
Nee, kratzen tut nichts.
Das hat auch so Hackgeräusche kürzlich gehabt. Also das gleiche Gerät beim anderen Kollegen. Scheinbar sind die nicht ganz fehlerfrei, die Dinger. Wie ist es denn jetzt? Hörst du mich noch, Hans?
Ja, ich höre dich, ja.
Und die Qualität ist immer noch schlecht.
Ja, ich weiß nicht, wie ich das beschreiben soll. Das ist so rauschig, ja. Also,
Okay. Also mit Störgeräuschen drin. Hm. Der Stecker eine Macke hat und nicht richtig Kontakt hat.
also eine Notlösung, die du probieren könntest, theoretisch, ist natürlich, dass du versuchst, du hast ja mit Sicherheit ein Smartphone, ein Android-Smartphone.
Nein, ein Smartphone.
Ja, die haben nämlich eigentlich eine brillante Hardware-Qualität. Und dass du dich da über den Link, den ich dir geschickt habe, du hast ja sicher auch ein Mail-Programm da drauf, dann klickst du den
Ja.
an und dann kannst du dich vielleicht einwählen und dann kann man das Bild vom Computer lassen, dich dort stumm schalten und du sprichst ins andere. Du siehst ja an meinem Beispiel, man kann durchaus mit zwei sozusagen Fenstern reingehen. Das wäre vielleicht eine Option. Aber jetzt machen wir deinen Anruf mit dem Headquarter und dann
Ja.
probieren
Ja.
wir es mal. Wenn es nicht klappt, dann können wir damit auch leben.
Ja, ist gut. Machen wir so.
Also bis
Ich
gleich.
mache erst ein anderes Ding und dann melde ich mich nochmal. 10 vor 11 jedenfalls melde ich mich nochmal bei dir und
Okay,
dann testen wir aus, welche der Varianten die bessere ist.
genau. Gut.
Okay, danke dir. Bis später.
Tschüss.
Tschüss.
Hallo Hans, ich mache nochmal einen Versuch mit dem Sound. Ich habe da was ausgeschaltet. Ist das jetzt besser geworden? Hans, hörst du mich? Hallo Hans?
Mr. Hans?
I can hear you.
Yes, Mr. Krish, I'm just checking means with the Hans. So with 5 minutes, we will start.
Okay.
Yeah,
What about the quality of my sound? Is that okay?
it is clear now. It is very much clear.
Clear? Oh,
Yeah,
super. Thank you.
thank you, thank you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Ja, Hans, ich höre dich gut. I can hear you clear. What about the quality of my microphone now, Hans?
It's much better, much better.
Oh, I'm very happy about this.
Okay. I'm sorry that this second screen of us, well, the video did work, but I did not manage to get the audio via this system. So I'm turning back to here and will show the screen from my laptop. It's okay. I wanted to have, well, on this poster, well, the poster and so on, and well, there's something not okay, so I just turn back to this. It will work. So we did last week for CII, so it will work again.
Yeah, fine.
Ganesh, you will let in all the visitors if they are coming.
Yes, the live is already on the YouTube, on our auditorium, virtual
It's
platform
on
auditorium.
YouTube.
Yeah, and virtual exhibition.
Okay, can you send me the link for this YouTube? So I can send it also to some by email to some of the people I was asking to follow.
Uh, Ask them to join my exhibition platform itself. They
Yes. Okay. Okay.
much better.
Mm-hmm.
I already sent yesterday to you, but I will now I will send it to you. Mail has sent to you.
Okay. Check.
People is already on the auditorium.
So I go back.
Hans, vielleicht kannst du noch in den Präsentationsmodus gehen von diesen Folien, dann wird
Okay.
das
Ja,
Bild
genau.
ein bisschen
Das mache
größer.
ich. In der Sekunde mache ich das, genau. Ich weiß jetzt, ob ich hier freigeben. Bildschirm 1, freigeben. Ups, dann haben wir aber hier, wo ist jetzt hier? Dieser. Ach, ist das blöd. So, jetzt.
Yes.
Now, okay?
Excellent.
Yes. मैंने
Excellent.
Okay, good.
मेरा virtual exhibition चालू है. Okay, so I will get. I am busy with my virtual exhibition, so I will give you a call back. Yeah, thank you. Yes, दोनों के लिए.
Okay. Should we start?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, hello everybody. Good morning in Europe. It's a pleasure for me to start our panel, our webinar during the IEEV week. This week, my name is Hans Denk. I'm the editor-in-chief of Global Business Magazine, a magazine which is dealing with international business opportunities. And it's a pleasure for us to follow the invitation of Mr. Ganesh Parkar to discuss about cooperation opportunities between Indian companies in the electrical and the engineering sector with Germany. To discuss these opportunities, I invited Dr. Johannes Kirsch, who is not a doctor but a good friend, who is international director at ZVEI, which is the Association for the Electrical Industry in Germany. And we agreed to discuss on 3 topics today. First is the situation of the manufacturing industry, of the production in Germany after the Corona challenge. I will give you a very short picture of the mood which is dominant in the industry. Second, Johannes Kirsch and me, we will discuss about the recent developments in the industry, also the reason why globalization or the maintaining of international, global, cross-border supply chains will not stop by Corona, and what this means for the relationship between Indian suppliers and German manufacturers. And third, this is a very interesting topic, we will discuss on cooperation opportunities on third markets, not delivering jointly to Germany or India, but on third markets. Welcome, Johannes. I start, maybe you just introduce a little bit your person, your position at ZVEI first.
Thank you, Hans. Good morning to the German audience and good afternoon to the Indian audience. What I'm doing in the ZVI, the German Electric Technical Industry, is I'm dealing with foreign trade affairs. I'm in this association since 2001, and a few words maybe to the association itself. It's an association consisting of roughly 1,500 member companies of all sizes, and we in the department support them by promoting trade-oriented topics like the abolition of non-tariff trade barriers, but also by creating platforms to communicate topics like smart grids and energy efficiencies and things like that, and e-mobility and other buzzwords that are in the community since some years. The association represents the electrical industry in Germany at the national and at the international level. Our colleagues are about 160 employees in the main office, and the fundament of the association's work is the exchange of experience and views between the members concerning current technical, economic, legal, and socio-political topics in the field of the electrical industry. So for the members, we have to underline that it's mainly small and medium-sized companies, and also the big ones like Siemens, ABB, Bosch, and Areva and all the other big ones as you know them. But the majority are medium-sized. Medium-sized, I have to define, is from a German perspective. That means medium-sized in contrast to Siemens and ABB. So for an international level, also our so-called medium-sized ones are big companies from the perspective of other countries. So in figures, the sector has 876,000 employees in Germany, plus more than 790 employees abroad. And the turnover of the branch was in 2019 was approximately 190 billion. So this is for the dimension of the association. And as you can see at this chart, there are at the moment we have 5 main buzzwords. That is Industry 4.0, that is energy, that is mobility, that is buildings and health. So in these sectors, the member companies do their business, and the business is, for the many of them, the business is to manufacture components that go into other industries, be that the automotive industry, be that the chemical industry, or the utilities, the power sector, or the buildings. That means lighting, heating, air conditioning, and other electrical or other uses that are driven by electrical devices. So, and the main job of the companies is to manufacture these devices and deliver these devices to other industries or other installation people that are doing the outer appearance of buildings or factories. So this is in a nutshell the industry and the use of these products. Then we could go to the next slide if you like.
This one?
Yes, please. I see the majority of that I have already mentioned. Important from the education level, it is important to notice the background of the employees. So the majority, more than 60% of the employees have a background in science, technology, engineering, math. That means it's basically it's a technical association, and the companies are busy in that area. Very important thing is the research and development achievements of the companies. More than 90,000 people of the 876 employees are in the sector of research and development. That means it's a branch that is driven mainly by innovation, by new products, by new ideas, by new technologies, because this is the key element to distinguish the advanced companies from the not so much advanced companies. So, and the competition in this area is very tough, and this means that the companies have to be very active and busy in developing new items and new buzzwords with a background of usability for the customers in order to succeed in the competition with other countries in the world and with other companies in the world. Maybe I leave it at that at the moment with this chart.
Yes, Johannes, that is definitely a concise description of the German electrical industry, mainly involved in business-to-business relations worldwide. A very important figure is still on this slide. I would like to repeat it. To 76 domestic employees are coming 790,000 employees worldwide. So it's electrical industry is a job machine, but not only in Germany, but also worldwide with the subsidiaries. We will discuss this specific character of the this industry later. Well, having this level of internationalization, the main question was for me during this year, how can they maintain this kind of business? Being so international, being so active, so worldwide, what will happen under the Corona crisis? And this is my short introduction to our discussion. I go on my slides. I made some interviews during this summer and also in the autumn with industry leaders, because we're editing a magazine, so it's about having a look into plannings, discussions, developments. And well, the main message I received from all my interviews, which I will quote very shortly, was optimism. I was a little bit surprised about this, because in the very first time of lockdown in Germany, there were many voices having an opposite idea, that it would mean the end of the form of globalization which we have seen in the last 20 years, that for nearly all high-tech products, there are literally extremely global value chains. If you look at the car or at the electrics of a car, you will find components and parts stemming from all over the world. And could this business model maintain? The answer of the industry, in short, which I'm quoting here, was that definitely yes. Talking to Dr. Kegel, who is the president of the electrical industry, so to say, kind of boss to Johannes, he said definitely we could remain and maintain the level of delivery. So it was, we are at 95%. The readiness of the teams worldwide to fulfill customer needs did not change. This one voice, globalization will go on. A second voice, sustainability. With Mr. Roland Bent, one of the member companies of ZWEI, he's the CTO of this company. Well, he said definitely by preparing also the big green development of world industry and preparing the tools for making the world more electrical and more sustainable, we have done a good work, and now it pays out, so that even in the crisis and in the downturn of turnover, there's a good position for the German firms, and they are continuing in the automotive and electromobility, which will be a topic between Johannes and me, is one of the fields where they are really investing and developing. So sustainability is the second factor of continuity in the development of the industries. And the third one is digitalization or digitization. And I talked to Dr. Eberhard Veit, who is in the advisory board of Bosch Industries, and he was reporting from also other companies that there's a real mood of optimism in the companies. Now the Corona crisis is seen as a driver for more digitization, more digital culture, in the companies, and he predicted. I was talking to him in June, and he predicted that there will be not a V shape, but by the digitalization, a kind of V shape of the business, but with some steps on it. And he was also super optimistic. So I was really surprised from this. So last slide. Well, a little bit about Germany's economic data, which is Germany is a dominant exporting country, as you know. And these things about the V shape, you see here, the blue line is exports until July 2020 only. So, but it's still going up. And second is also imports. And imports is, of course, interesting for you as parts of the global supply chains, how will this develop? And I think both are reflecting this kind of optimism. Maybe it's a bit early for a final judge about this mood, but after all my discussions with CEOs, with people in the industry, there is a strong mentality of facing the challenges. And one more thing we will discuss with Johannes later. Many of these companies are family driven, so it's not a decision of, let's say, hiring, firing, or abandoning or closing companies, but even in the financial crisis from 2009 to 10, there was a certain stability, which you can see in the long-term figures. Well, that's a very, very short message or report on the mood, and maybe it helps you to understand the mentality of the companies you're dealing with. And one question, of course, is now, Johannes, there was a 2 decades, 3 decades, even longer story of internationalization. How they will be able to continue this without traveling? So that was always the question: how to learn new opportunities just from the desktop. What is your experience with your member companies? How they are mastering this challenge?
Yeah, let me first come back to the basics of our branch. One of the important things, and you did show that with the import and the export curves that you had on your charts. In the same dimension as our companies are depending on the exports, they are depending on the imports. Why is that? Because the division of labor in our branch is so much subdivided between so many elements in the supply chains. That means that the final products, when they're sitting on your desk or sitting on the shop floor in your company, that the final products, the components of these final products have crossed the borders so many times, much more often than we will ever do this as a tourist or as a businessman. So that means the components are traveling all around the world very often until they end up in a final product. And this means our industry depends on open borders for products. So now with the COVID pandemic that we have worldwide, we got some heavy restrictions because the logistics did break down in a lot of countries. The the ports were not working, the airports were not working, the airlines were not flying, and a lot of the components are so small that they do not travel in the air freight airplanes. They are traveling in the civil aircraft in the belly of the aircraft, where normally the tourists have their luggage. So this was a big challenge for the companies to find new opportunities to get the components delivered to the customers on one hand, and get the components that they need in their factories from their sub-deliverers. So this was a challenge, but it is not that much complicated to increase the buffer stock in your companies to be able to survive some weeks without a daily delivery of the components. So this was it was like a shock, but it's not much different to the shock that we had from this volcano in the Iceland that we had some years ago. It was the same phenomenon. Airplanes could not fly, ships could not travel, the cargo was not delivered. But you can overcome this problem. With the digitization, this is really, I agree with the results that you got in the interviews. The digitization is one of the remedies for the companies to balance the missing business trips that we all are suffering from. For some of us, it's a suffering. For others, it's a advantage. It depends on the personal on your personal setting on that. But with digitization, you can transmit the data that you need to do maintenance on your machines, to do the software and algorithm writing of your software. All that you can balance with digitalization and digitized processes. These processes got a big push by this corona. No question about that. The really heavy impact of the COVID is what is happening on the shop floor, what is happening to the people in the companies, and this depends very much on the smartness of the politicians, if they are able to deliver and develop a robust system of health care for their people, and a robust system to prevent further increase of the pandemic. So this, I guess, is a heavy impact on what is happening in the societies. If we get a shutdown, as we see it at the moment in Austria, for example, as we have seen it in some other countries, these are heavy impacts for the companies. And to a certain extent, I guess the companies can outcompete this shutdown with digitization, but it will not be possible to outcompete this totally. It has an influence. It will lead to a reduction in the turnover, but it will not lead to a breakdown of the branch or the industry. I don't see that. What you see at the moment is some backlog in the automotive industry, but that comes mainly from other problems, from the not so smartly managed switch over to e-mobility instead of combustion-driven engines and so on. But this is not mainly an effect of the pandemic, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that about the situation in the companies facing the lacks in mobility, but let's talk a little bit about these buzzwords and talking about these buzzwords also with a certain point of view to business relations with India, which is the place where we're discussing these items. Let's maybe come to one of the first and most important customers of the electrical industry, which is the automotive industry, the car industry. Forget about the amount of, let's say, electricity being in a car some 10 years, 20 years ago, and to what had happened in the worldwide development of the automotive industry, then the contribution of the electrical industry, the know-how of the companies handling electrical devices has definitely grown. And now coming to electromobility, which is not the first battery thing in a car, but it is, let's say, a total evolution or revolution in the driving. What does this transformation of the industry mean? And maybe you can give a little bit a viewpoint also what this means for the being local of the companies, which was a main driver in the development of the car industry with factories all over the world. So maybe you can give your idea, how is this changing? What does this mean also for the supply chain delivering electrical know-how devices and systems?
Yes, thank you. Firsthand, I would like to add that a lot of our member companies, especially not only the Siemens and the ABB, also the Phoenix Contact, the Weidmüller, the Festo, and you name them, they have established manufacturing facilities in India since many, many years. Some of them are, Siemens is since more than 100 years in India. We all know that, but also the others, the Phoenix, the Pepperl und Fuchs, and so on, they have established since 20 and 30 years ago their factories in India. Why did they do this? One hand, they did this because of the size of the market, and the second reason was the import duties of India were very high since all these years. So it made a lot of sense to establish production facilities and to establish know-how transfer to the Indian factories, to the Indian employees. So they nowadays are able to produce, for example, the necessary parts and components that you need to establish a charging environment for e-mobility in India, because this is the prerequisite for the Indian mobility policy, that if they want to go on e-mobility too, and I know that they want to do that, then it is necessary to establish a charging environment in the cities, in all these mega cities that are being developed, that it is possible for the customers to charge the electrical vehicles. And this is not a simple problem. The charging environment needs to be integrated in already existing cities and environments. That means you have already a electricity supply in a certain area in the city, but when you add now the charging, the job to charge electrical vehicles, then it is an additional burden for the grid that you have in this area. That means you have to reinforce the grid, you have to strengthen the diameter of the cables, you have to build up new transformers, you have to build up new charging, new connectivity devices, and there must be a system how the customer has to pay for the charging of his vehicle. This is also not a simple problem to establish a payment system for these charging jobs. So this is something which is not simple, but it is possible to establish that. And I know personally from one of my last visits in India at the trade show Electrama in Delhi, in Greater Noida to be precise. There we had a meeting with the representatives from the ministry in Delhi, who was at that time in the process of defining the standards for this charging environment, because there are on the different markets in the world, there are different sort of plugs, wall hanging systems and so on, which must be defined and which must be standardized. And to define what standard should be established in India was their job at that time. And we could bring them in contact, for example, with the people from Phoenix Contact and with other companies who are manufacturing and providing these components. And this is, I would say, the one of the important steps that a city or a country has to do if they want to move from combustion engines to electrically driven engines, that the charging environment needs to be established. This is one thing. The next thing is you have to talk about the batteries, because the batteries are a product of our branch as well. And we all know that the batteries for an E-driven car is very much different from the battery that you have in a combustion-driven car. That means you have to take care for these very delicate lithium-ion batteries, because they are not so easy to be handled if there's an accident and something like that. So that needs that means there must be an infrastructure for the batteries, there must be an infrastructure for the charging. And the next thing is the question, what is the business model behind e-business? Will that mean that the people will buy these e-vehicles as they did in the past with the combustion-driven engines, or will they rent these e-mobility devices from other companies, like you did in the beginning with the mobile phones or something like that? So this is something that must be decided, or the market will decide on that, because I guess in the beginning we will have both systems in parallel. That means the ownership of the car and of all this equipment of an individual, or you rent it from someone else for a certain time and then give it back to the owner. So both systems are possible, but it is a challenge for the cities. You have to have the place for that. You have to have a business model for the payment and the reimbursement of all this money that needs to be paid for these services. So all this is a challenge, and in each and every of these processes, there are electronically driven or controlled components which will be supplied from our companies, from Indian companies, from other companies, because it's all about the transmission of electronically produced information, and this information needs to be controlled by software and other highly developed devices. Otherwise, you cannot provide such a system ever.
Johannes, would you say, coming to this software challenge or this data generating, administrating, distribution thing, which we see in every part of the new mobile world, being in the car, connecting the car with a structure in the traffic control systems, or what is most important, as you mentioned, the charging infrastructure. Does this not create, let's say, a unique selling point of India? India is not only in terms of newspapers, it's mastering digitalization since long. They have a very, very strong digital data processing industry. Just one example, when I was on the last IAA in Frankfurt, your hometown or the town where ZWE is at home, I'm now this show will be transferred to Munich, and end of next year we will see how it will happen. But when I was in Frankfurt, I always visited one company, and this company is called Brose, and the Brose is making doors. And I was speaking with the product manager of the company, and he told me, and he was really happy to find someone interested in this, how many electrical systems are involved just in a door. The information about, I don't know what, the locking system, whatever, it's electrical and it's data driven. And then I asked him, how do you do this? How did you develop this business in your company? The company is based near Nuremberg, and it's a very traditional and smart company in mechanical engineering and doing these doors, millimeter by millimeter must be okay for doors. And they are delivering it to all of the OEMs of the world. And then I asked, and how do you manage with the data thing? And he told me, yes, we saw that we have to do that much. So we created an Indian department, and we were buying an Indian engineering company, and now the doors used in high level quality in many plants all over the world, being developed in the headquarter, but the software administrating the electronics in a door, in a car, connecting it with the car's more and more sophisticated systems. This is done in India. This is just an example where I see this, unique selling point, digitization, the talents, number of talents. How do you see, Johannes, this opportunity to cooperate in these fields? But what would you recommend Indian enterprises who are following us on YouTube, hopefully? What could they do in order to make clear these competences and skills, and maybe this part of the value, being the masters of this part of the value chain?
Yes, thank you. I guess at this point, when we talk about India, we come to a very important competitive advantage, as the economists say. India has the competitive advantage to produce software. We all know Bangalore, where SAP and Lufthansa and other big international companies, the American mobile phone companies and so on, they have people there. Siemens, you name them, the people there who produce the algorithm that are the content of software, and with software you're running the world. So this is their speaking. And I think if India can combine the abilities of these people, for example, in Bangalore and in many other places in India, with the infrastructure which was created just recently in India. That means nearly every citizen in India has, let's say, kind of identity card, which is unique, which is for each and every citizen in India. This card works for the banking system, it works for the identification of the people, and it works all over the country to identify a person. So coming back to what I said about the charging job that needs to be done, and this card and the software abilities of the people in Bangalore and other places of India, I could imagine that it would be possible for Indian companies to to establish a robust system for the payment of such part-time services like e-mobility and other modern elements of modern societies, and manage the payment of these amounts that need to be balanced via this card. And they do not have to establish another additional systems as we have it in many industrialized countries, because they did some pioneering jobs, and now the pioneering industries are disappearing because they're not robust enough. But I guess this is one of the key elements of the competitive advantages in India, that they are experienced in developing robust systems. Then doesn't need to be too much sophisticated, but it must be robust. It must be working in the rural areas. It must be working in the cities everywhere in India. And if India would be successful in creating such a technology, a robust technology, that would be a key cornerstone, I would say, for a future export industry of India, because there are so many neighbors around India and on the African continent who also need robust systems for transportation, for e-mobility, even for health systems. To do the payment in a health system is an important step for the progress in the supply of a health system. And via this robust identification and payment systems, I guess there India could do one of these so-called leapfrogging technologies to overcome the old payment systems with pieces of paper and some other technologies that are now outdated. I guess this could be one of the real important elements of a future supply of services industry in India and abroad.
So you were already talking about this third market topic, which we wanted to discuss also. Yes, I agree with your opinion that, of course, the technological leadership in data handling, data transmission, data processing, that could be one of the advantages of Indian suppliers. But then there is still, in the end, let's come to the real and true electrical industry. Then there is the device, the hardware, which is needed for, let's say, creating a new form of electrical grid somewhere in the world, in establishing renewable energy sources. Are there opportunities to cooperate between, let's say, the German suppliers, which are also not these kind of huge conglomerates, but medium-sized companies or bigger medium-sized companies with Indian suppliers, and how can they match each other in order to deliver and to jointly bid maybe in World Bank or African Development Bank or other tenders. So we have some practical advice for our potential audience.
Yes, there is an example from the past. I remember I was at a trade show in Morocco. I guess it was in 2011, and there is a small electrical industry in Morocco. They are manufacturing cables there, and they want to do the civil engineering and the establishing of of energy transmission and distribution lines in the neighboring countries. And what is missing there is transformers and some other high voltage equipment that is necessary to establish a grid. And the problem was that the European components, being transformers and high voltage switchgear, were too expensive to meet the economic requirements that the authorities in the neighboring countries in Africa had for the bidding system, for the bidding process. So, and my proposal was to the Moroccans, have a look at the Indian manufacturers, because I knew from my visits at the trade shows I have seen there that there is a respectable number of manufacturers in India who are producing robust transformers and switchgear equipment for high voltage and medium voltage and so on. And my idea was, if you cannot afford the European transformers in your project price-wise, then go to the Indian manufacturers, ask them for their transformers and switchgear, and then combine the engineering maybe from some European countries, your civil engineering, and the hardware components from the Indian manufacturers to establish a product and be successful, for example, in a project that is financed by the World Bank, financed by the African Development Bank, or by other international financing institutions, the so-called IFIs. And to my surprise, at the next trade show I guess it was in 2011 in Mumbai, my two conversation partners from Morocco appeared at the trade show in Mumbai and asked for the manufacturers from the Indian association, because I knew also the guys from the Indian association. And then they discussed together, and I cannot tell what was the result about that, because it's not our job to interfere in these processes, but the idea was to bring them together and give them an idea where they could cooperate. And I know from other visits in the eastern part of Africa that a lot of Indian-based businessmen are active, for example, in Kenya and in other parts of East Africa. And this brings me to the idea that it could be possible to combine the engineering from Europe and also from India, and the hardware from India, with civil engineering companies in other parts of the world to build up infrastructure, which is necessary, which is very necessary in the end for all of these electronic driven processes that we want to have, be that internet, be that e-mobility, be that healthcare, be that the processing of food. Without a cooling system which is uninterruptible, you cannot have the processing of food nowadays. So all these processes depend on a precisely working energy infrastructure system, and this, I guess, is one of the opportunities where India can exploit its abilities and the quality level of their products, because in African markets it would be the perfect fit, I guess, to have a robust basic infrastructure from Indian manufacturers.
Thank you, Johannes, for this opinion, and also for this proposal to Indian manufacturers. I think it's time now also to make available your address. I think everyone can find you both on ZVEI or in LinkedIn, where we all are connected. So it's easy if there are companies now listening to us being interested in matching on third markets or on these new markets, which are data driven, as we discussed it. I think feel free to contact us, and then also to contact Johannes Kirsch directly. He will be helpful in connecting you with German companies, and also a special thanks again to Janis Parker from as organizer of the trade show where you are listening to us. Yes, it is important to bridge the distance, and Johannes often mentioned trade fairs. That's the place where we all met in the previous years, and now we have to bridge it. And congrats again to Ganesh to start this dialogue, and we are interested in to continue. And a last thing, I would like to call now Caroline Hambrücke. Hopefully she is still in the system, and so we can talk a little bit about our program for tomorrow. If she is here. Yeah.
Yes,
Hi.
I am.
Yes. Good morning or hello. Caroline, nice that you are here.
Good morning, everybody. Yes.
You followed our discussion, and Johannes was the one giving us this sector panorama, the cooperation panorama, and I'm very happy and that you, whom I met also first time on a trade show, are ready to share your experiences on how a single company, a single supplier can move on to connect with potential partners in developing joint products. Thank you for also listening us today. Maybe you want to say just one or two words. What's your topic tomorrow?
Yes, sure. I would like to. Thanks for the opportunity to join already today and to listen to Mr. Kirsch, which was very interesting, definitely. So since I'm more or less we are supporting German companies in finding suppliers in India and supporting them in developing a supplier in India for them. We very well know what the German customers or the German companies are looking for in India. So in that way, we can also tell how the Indian potential suppliers or who are the companies who are interested in finding customers in Germany or Europe, what to do, what to concentrate on, how to improve maybe the communication, the way of communication, and where are the chances and ways of meeting potential customers in Europe and Germany for them. So I'm happy to talk about these things with Hans tomorrow and excited to go on with it. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I'm also excited to meet again tomorrow. If Ganesh is here, if there are questions from the audience to you via social media or whatever, we would be happy to see it and also discuss it tomorrow, some practical things. Also, I'm ready to forward it to Johannes directly so we can have tomorrow maybe some answers on this. Even tomorrow, Johannes will not participate because he's in another conference. But whatever you have as ideas or questions, don't hesitate to communicate with us or with Ganesh, who might be again a bridge between the Indian electrical world and us as here in Germany, people closely watching are being very interested in developments in the sector in India. So for today, thank you to you all. Thank you again to the partners here. Ganesh who is still here.
Yes.
And also, of course, to Johannes. And, always interesting to learn something new when talking to you. And we will discuss further many of the topics, I'm sure. Thank you so much to all of you.
Thank you for your times and your supports to our show and the great insight of the Germans and the European markets. Thank you, Johannes. And thank you, Karan. I'll be looking forward to hear you tomorrow. Thank you. And thank you for giving us the time from
The
your
time we have to maybe mention. Sorry, Ganesh, for interrupting you. I was just writing tomorrow because I'm always not secure when is Indian time. But Caroline, we will be very early. German time is 9, and Indian
Yes.
time will be
Indian time is 2 o'clock.
okay.
1:30. Yeah.
So that's very important that we don't miss each other. Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay. Yeah, great.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Here
Great.
also from my side.
Okay. Thank you.